another question, more from, I guess, a technical curiosity about vibration. So we see colors because they're different vibrations, and sounds are different vibrations.
Your eyes interpret them, your ears interpret them.
So when you talk about getting in alignment with that vibration, is there a different, like, okay, I want this Ferrari, as opposed to I want this something else? It's a different thing. So is there a different vibration for financial abundance? Is there a different vibration for relationships? Is there a different vibration? So when I say I need to get into alignment with that vibration, and you say, okay, just find joy.
Nope.
Is that?
There isn't.
Okay.
There isn't. There's only one vibrational awareness that is important for you to understand. When you ask for it, your inner being said, we agree. And your inner being focuses upon you having that experience for all of the reasons that your inner being knows you want it. You like the comfort of the machine. You like the dexterity of it. You like the brilliance of it. You like the excellence of it. You like the responsiveness of it to you. You might like the way you feel when you are in it. Your inner being is not asking you to justify why you want it. Your inner being understands, because your inner being has been living with you. Your inner being knows what you're asking for. So the only vibrational awareness or variance that you are wanting to pay attention to is, are you out of vibrational sync with your own desire? And you see, this is why it is so important that you understand how this all fits together. Because the reason that you feel emotion in the way you do is because your inner being has focused upon who you really are and what you really want, and is holding that steady signal so that you can hone into it, know when you are coming into alignment with it, and know when you are not. If someone that you didn't know called you on the telephone and said, hello, you don't know me, I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again, you would say, thanks for letting me know. And you would not feel any tugging. But if someone you really care about said that to you, you would feel emotional response to that, meaning that what you desire is real, and your relationship to what you desire is the only vibrational awareness that you need to be aware of. When you see colors, you're not saying, well, I think that I will utilize my mind in such a way, and left side and right side, in order to interpret this vibration, in order to distinguish the difference between these colors, and I want to be a very sophisticated color distinguisher. You don't do that. Your eyes are just interpreters of vibration, and your solar plexus are interpreters of vibration too. And so when your inner being knows something and you has an opinion about something and your opinion is different, that offness is apparent to you through your emotions.
So let me repeat and see if I understood it.
Yeah.
So even though the things I'm desiring have a different vibration, from a purely physical thing,
maybe they don't have as much different vibration as you are assigning to them. Because on the one hand, some people want to say red Ferrari bad, decadent, greedy, wasteful. In other words, these are physical human opinions about some things. But the fact that life has caused you to prefer it or to ask for it, your inner being is not making any judgment about the appropriateness or the inappropriateness of it, as long as it is matching the resonance of who you are as God source energy that came forth to begin with. And so more is a wonderful thing, and expansion is a wonderful thing, and experiencing life in new ways is a wonderful thing.
Right, but so the physical vibration of that thing is different than a physical vibration of a relationship, right?
Maybe.
But I don't have to worry about that as long as I'm in alignment with my inner being.
But not even as different as you're making them out to be. Of course, having a relationship with a person is different than having a relationship with a car. But your relationship with your own desire is really what we're talking about here.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And this is a thing that you don't know, and we're not going to ask you to trust us. But your inner being will not lead you down. a wrong path. Your inner being is pure, positive energy. And your inner being knows that when life has caused you to ask for something, that there is an essence at the basis of that that is really valuable to you. And your inner being wants you to have that experience so that essence can be your knowing. That's what the evolution of all species is about, you see. It's only the human that puts the judgment on things, and humans put those comparative judgments on most things, mostly based upon their shortage consciousness thinking. Like they don't understand that this universe is large enough to yield to everyone everything that they want, and that the shortage that people are experiencing and enduring isn't because there is lack in the abundance in the universe's ability to deliver. It's that humans ask for things that they don't turn to things because they hold themselves in vibrational opposition to what they're asking for rather than into vibrational harmony with what they're asking for. And some of this conversation here has dissolved some of that resistance within you a little bit too. Can you feel it?
Yes.
The other day, we've told this story, but it's such a good one. There isn't anything that matters more to Esther than having an opportunity to visit with another and help them understand how life works or feel better about the life that they're in. And so that's what's in her vortex. Lots of other things too. Red Ferraris too.
I thought you were Audi.
She's done with that Audi. Just what you said before. Oh, you mean you might want something and then that desire might lead to something else? Of course it does, because no creation is ever complete. So your desires will continue to take different forms. Good conversation right there. Answers something that you asked earlier. So Esther woke up one morning and she'd been really listening to us about this early morning, not early morning, but first thing she does, meditation. So she'd been experiencing it for many, many days. And one morning, because we were wanting her and you to understand that since your receivers are always on, you want to know what you're receiving from. Are you receiving from CNN? Are you receiving from the spin-off of man's conscious thought? Are you receiving from your inner being who knows where you stand in relationship to everything you want and will guide you to it? And so Esther was in that kind of receiving mode. She had been meditating, and just coming out of meditation, she had this powerful thought. She was in California. I want to move all the furniture around in my house. I think I'd like everything to be in a different place. And the idea was such a good feeling idea. She went right to her computer and Googled someone to come help her do that. And so two men came right away, and they moved that over there and that over there, and she has a house and a guest house, and she moved furniture from place to place, that over there and 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 that over there. So that was an impulse that came to her that was very, very powerful, that seemed frivolous, seemed unnecessary. But the day before that, she had experienced, coming out of meditation, the setup for that one. The day before, as she came out of meditation, she had this really powerful desire, like that feeling that you really, really, really want to do something. You can't really explain it. You don't know why, but it just sounds like the best idea you've ever had, and nothing can keep you from doing it. It feels like that good of an idea. She wanted to learn her music system in her house. It had been in there for about 10 years, and she had never understood it. So she sat there in front of her television screen with her remote contraption in front of her. She just started pushing buttons, and suddenly it all made sense. She's got zones, several zones. There are speakers in gardens and courtyards and in all of the rooms around the house. And she discovered with just a few movements how this thing all worked. And now she's going through the menu of the music, and she's listening to this to see how that sounds, and this to see how that sounds. And she stumbled on, came to, was inspired to rap. She's never listened to rap, not really. So she sat, she kicked her feet up and she sat back and she just listened, and she started feeling some resonance with it. She liked what she was hearing. She liked the feel of it, and she liked the way the words fit within the beat of it. And she got up and she found herself moving to it. She was really enjoying it, and she listened to it for quite a while. And then that was done. The emotion faded and she went on with her day. Now the next day, the impulse is to move furniture around. So now she's got two men standing on her porch, and now they're moving furniture around. They moved everything somewhere else, and then eventually moved most of it back to where it was, because it really was pretty good where it was. But during the process, she's falling in love with these two very young men, and they're enjoying her as well. And so one of them said to Esther, how does all of this come to you? Because Esther has a really beautiful place, and they are really liking it. And Esther is saying she has some other places that she is too, but the weather here is just the best. And then one of them said, but I'm leaving. And Esther said, why? And he said, I'm going back to Alabama. And Esther said, why? And he said, because I am a rapper. And Esther said, hold on a minute. So she goes into the other room and pushes some buttons, and now rap is playing loudly in all of the zones for all of the land to hear. And they are looking at her. Esther showed him her moves. He said, what do you do? And Esther said, I'm a teacher. And he said, what do you teach? And Esther said, rap. And then she said, no, I just teach living happily ever after. I teach you that you can have what you want right here where you want to be, that you don't have to go to some place you don't want to be, that what you want will come to you. They had this wonderful conversation, which led her to give him some books and some recordings and some things. So little did Esther know that her impulse to learn her system and her impulse to move her furniture around, that her inner being knows what she wants, and her inner being knows how to lead her to it. His inner being knew what he wanted, and his inner being knew how to lead him to it. When you are in receipt of that subtle guidance, your rendezvous with the things that you want will just continue to evolve. And anyway, what a fun way to develop a relationship, and what a fun way to have a real experience. In other words, Source always knows, you see. Source always knows. So when that impulse comes and you are in your chilled state and ready to receive it, and you allow yourself to hear the thought and to follow the impulse, and then you get to consciously witness the outcome. You see, nothing is better in all of your experience than for life to help you to identify that you want something, and for you to deliberately do what it takes to get yourself in vibrational alignment, or at least not in vibrational discord. So as you are doing the work, as you are doing the processes, as you are doing the meditation, and you are feeling the improvement in the way you feel, and then you get to witness the turning of the thoughts to things, as one thing leads to another, and one thing leads to another, and one thing leads to another. Jerry and Esther endlessly were describing to themselves, mostly to each other, and sometimes to others, but to each other, the chain of events that led to them coming together. It was the most delicious conversation that they ever had, because after the fact, they understood that what was in their vortex and what each of them was desiring all of their life was being answered by this unfolding of these circumstances and events that led to this relationship. You see what we're getting at? So we want you to know, but you've got to find it out for yourself. We want you to know that your inner being knows who you are and where you are in your physical body in relationship to who you are and everything that you have become. Because you have become so much more, all of you have become so much more than you are at any moment in time letting yourself be. And your satisfaction factor is completely about how much of who you really are you are letting in any moment in time. When you are hating someone or mad at someone or finding fault with someone, you are so out of sync with who you really are and what you really want that those hateful feelings, those dreadful feelings, those unpleasant feelings are your indicator that you have departed not just from what you desire and not just from the path to what you desire, but from who you have already become.
Don't forget to leave a positive message and subscribe.